We're taking a close look at Tinkertown, a new pixel art sandbox RPG from the developer Headup. Does Tinkertown create a new and magical crafting and exploration experience, or does it play like a broken record, simply repeating what other sandbox RPGs have already done? Stick around for my review to find out. Hey guys, it's Cody with Indie Game Pulse, where we bring you the hottest indie games with the coolest memes. Let's get right into it. As a quick disclaimer, since this is an early access title, I will not be discussing bugs or technical aspects, as those are still being worked on as we speak, but this review will rather focus on the main features of the game. If Tinkertown looks interesting to you, but you don't want to deal with early access, keep your eyes open in the coming months, because the developer Headup has stated they don't want a prolonged trial period before releasing in full to Mac, Linux, and all consoles. For starters, Tinkertown is a sandbox-style game which features drop-in and drop-out multiplayer for up to 4 players in a procedurally generated world filled with monsters, magic, and of course, lots of loot. The game begins by allowing you to choose your character's appearance and then dropping you into this beautiful, colorful landscape replete with resources to gather and enemies which you can either avoid or face head-on.
Head-on, applied directly to the forehead.
However, there is no mention of a story or a reason why you're here alone to fend for yourself, and I have yet to find any inkling of a trail to follow in that regard. With that being said, your character is very handy, with a pretty nice list of items to craft early on, and certain items such as the workbench or furnace giving you even more options. The crafting in Tinkertown is very smooth, and I appreciate that every item crafted is done so immediately. There's no standing around waiting for a pointless progress meter to fill up so that you can produce one wooden plank at a time. The progression of the crafting is also fairly quick, with the workbench alone opening up a ton of new decorative and functional items. This made me feel like the sky was the limit, and really made my playtime more enjoyable, especially since a lot is unlocked within even the first 30 minutes of playtime. I've played other sandbox RPGs where the crafting followed a more linear or webbed progression system, and certain items were only unlocked after you had crafted their predecessor. While Tinkertown does have some items locked behind crafting earlier versions, there are many, many things to craft which have no requirements other than the necessary resources. Along with the workbench, you can also use the furnace to craft metal bars, the anvil to craft weapons, and the clothier to craft armor that suits your preferred playstyle, with each piece affecting your strength, attack and defense, and movement, such as speed and agility. Now, for some of you, crafting and creating a cozy home is something that you really enjoy about open-world sandbox games, and I honestly am not one of those people. I want to craft my weapons and just go slay some enemies. With that being said, the look of Tinkertown really takes me back to the days of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past and Final Fantasy II on the Super Nintendo, and I just couldn't help trying to build my own cool castle in Tinkertown. The game excels at giving you the tools and the freedom to build, while also making it fun and accessible. Once you leave the confines of your new home and wander through the world, there are always enemies nearby, but they're not hyper-vigilant. For the most part early on in my game, I would run across goblins and some mysterious jellies, but if I chose to leave them alone, they returned the favor. When you do find someone to fight, you can choose your weapon of choice and change your playstyle around it, or delve into magic and become a spell-slinging wizard. I had a lot of success poaching my enemies long distance with the bow, and then switching to the sword as they came closer, although sometimes you do just want to stand there and duke it out with them from the get-go and see who the bigger man is, and that's fine too. I will say that I found the combat to be on the very easy side of things. You can really avoid death by attacking at a distance and weaving back and forth to avoid enemy attacks. I think this is something that should be worked on as the game grows, as it has already become predictable for me after only a couple hours. Also, some proximity alerts for the enemies would be very nice too, so I can't just pick a whole tribe of goblins apart one at a time. This happened in almost every large group encounter. I could slowly murder a goblin's entire family, one at a time, and the other members of the tribe were just walking around like it was business as usual.
I killed them. I killed them all. They're dead.
One thing I especially enjoyed about Tinkertown is the simple control scheme. I played on keyboard and mouse and used left click to gather resources and attack, right click to craft where able, and the mouse wheel to scroll through 10 equipped items with the option to use keyboard numbers as shortcuts also. The tab button opens your inventory, and you don't have to click on every item you want to gather, which is great. You just automatically pick up loose items as you pass over them, so long as there's free space in your inventory. It's a simple system, and I like it a lot. Coming into the game, I expected some sort of story, and after about 4 hours of gameplay, I still haven't come across anything remotely hinting at one. There are interesting things seen in the world which make me wonder, where did that come from? Or what the heck is that thing doing here? But so far as I can tell, Tinkertown is primarily focused on exploration and crafting, which is perfectly fine if that's what you're looking for. And that's not to say that there isn't going to be a story in the future, since the developer has published an early access roadmap, and one feature on it is an NPC update. Typically, NPCs are a way of leading you in the story, although one could also simply be a shopkeeper or something like that. There's really no way to tell until we see this NPC update, but for now I'm a little disappointed that there's no story or clear direction as of yet, and it's something that I hope to see down the road. I will mention another personal disclaimer here. I had fun even without a story or clear line of progression. I had a lot of fun actually. Tinkertown feels relaxing and exciting at the same time because as you wander throughout the world, you see glimpses on your minimap that don't look like anything you've seen yet, and then as you get closer, you start to wonder if you're even fully equipped or ready to explore these areas. So, while I thoroughly enjoy a good story, just exploring and discovering is also very fun, and Tinkertown has lots of that so far. Another item that really stands out to me is the artwork, for its deep and rich colors and just overall variety. The scenery never seemed boring to me, and it all comes together quite nicely. As I mentioned earlier, the style and coloration, for me at least, really harken back to the Super Nintendo era of pixel art games, and I think the soundtrack does as well. It's definitely a pleasant sounding score and feels light and happy, even though you wander alone in this goblin-infested land. So the question is, should you play Tinkertown? I would say maybe. I don't think it's for everyone, as it currently lacks a clear story and is still in early access, meaning there's a lot of bugs and glitches which can at times be kind of maddening. But if you enjoy games like Terraria, but maybe you want something a little less in depth, or you want to start something new, then you should check Tinkertown out. It's a relaxing and fun exploration game, and if you want to play it and watch it grow and form into the beautiful butterfly I believe it can be, then head over to Steam and give it a go in early access. I've included a link in the description below. That's it for my review of Tinkertown. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for more indie game reviews and countdowns, and thank you to my 56 faithful subscribers. Every single one of you has helped this channel grow day by day, and I truly appreciate all the conversations we've had in the comments. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think of Tinkertown, or tell me what your favorite game has been recently. I'd love to hear from you and talk more about our favorite indie games. For more indie game countdowns and reviews, check out the videos on your screen now, and I'll see you on the other side.